All right, let's talk about let's talk about this one. This is somewhat controversial. So this is the R2D2 from Attack of the Clones. Kiko's already rolling his eyes. This is great. So R2D2 Attack of the Clones, and some of the criticisms I've heard, right, guys, check the weathering on this figure, right? Check the weathering on this Attack of the Clones figure. I have the Force Awakens R2, so mine's pretty weathered also, and it's not really the end of the world. I still love my R2, but I want to ask people, does that make this figure an easy pass? Because they have not officially announced it yet. But I would be willing to suspect and bet that there are probably pretty good odds that there is an R2 probably being made from the Return of the Jedi anniversary. The fact that they did not make it a 2-pack with C-3PO makes it all the more interesting. But I guess I kind of like that because there are a lot of people that probably already have an R2. And they're like, well, I just want C-3PO. I already have an R2, right? So that is good Hot Toys did that. But Kiko, I'll ask you, does the weathering on this R2 from Attack of the Clones make it an easy pass? Because it was just released. Sideshow did their first look unboxing. If you need an R2, is this something people should consider? I think it's waitlisted, but you probably could still find it somewhere if you wanted it.
All I know is that I messed up by waiting on the original R2D2, and I had to settle for Force Awakens. I don't have the magnetic one with all the attachments yet. I don't have that one, so this is going to be that option for me. I actually prefer a weathered look because R2 is known to think about how shiny he was throughout the saga. Very rarely. He's mainly dirty and getting himself beat up or thrown around. He's a warrior. He's a war criminal for what it's worth. But I mean, he is meant to have a little bit of age. I mean, I was joking with somebody the other day, that part where Luke is cleaning him on A New Hope. He's like, well, you got a little carbon scoring in here. You look like you boys have seen a lot of action. Yeah, 100%. R2 has seen a lot of action. This is a great figure, mainly because it is an improvement on the other diecast magnetic version with all the attachments. I like the weathering. I think it's great. You get so much stuff. You get the C-3PO head, which is cool for some, and you got those lovely rocket propellers. That's awesome. This is a great figure. This would look great with your Dagobah Luke that's coming out, your DX25, whatever that one is. Don't miss on this. What will be funny is if they do go the armory route and release Return of the Jedi C-3PO with barge attachments, essentially, with R2D2, that 2-pack. Then people get, I just ordered the other one with Salacious Crumb, and I almost hope that happens, for that sake. The idea of 2-packs is like another conversation we can have for another time. I think they're few and far between, and we get too greedy thinking about it. But this is great. Just from the remote to what you can do, solid figure. If you need an R2D2, yes, he's waitlisted currently, which I don't really believe, but we'll see. I don't think that they would even put that on Sideshow, first look, if it wasn't going to be available at some point, which I think is also interesting. So conversations to be had. If you need R2, this is one to get. Don't sit there and wait for the definitive R2D2 because that may never come.
The one thing, Kiko, that I'm considering with this one, or maybe even a Return of the Jedi one, is I have the Force Awakens one like you referenced, but it's always had electronic issues because I bought it from another collector. So the electronics do work generally, but it might be one where I might try to maybe sell it, salvage what I can get out of it, and then pick up this one. But I guess it just depends, how much I really care about R2. But I do. I mean, I'm going to get the C-3PO at some point. So I do want an R2 that I feel like can light up and do what it's supposed to do. So maybe I will consider this one, but maybe I'll also look for the Return of the Jedi one that I think will inevitably be announced as well. But Marco, what do you think about this? Does the weathering make this R2 sort of less than ideal or less attractive to you? What do you think about it?
Yeah, so this is one that I planned on getting based on the, promo pictures of the solicitation pictures. I thought the weathering was a lot different than what we're seeing here with the final product. It
Mm.
seemed a lot more evenly distributed. The bottom wasn't as like distinctly yellow. So when I first saw this first look video, I was a little bit off put, honestly, because that's not how I think of R2. It's fine if he's got weathering, but it's almost feels like a two tone, to be honest, the way that they've done it. So in that respect, I think this one is a pass because you could pair him with a lot of other figures with your, let's see, your Mando Luke, R2D2 when he, or excuse me, C3PO when he comes out. But this is not the R2 that I think of. So much like the C3PO, everyone said wait until the version that you truly love comes out, and now Hot Toys has given us that version. So I'm going to say wait because I think Return of the Jedi they are going to make another one, and I just think that Hot Toys maybe didn't do the weathering correctly. I mean, am I off here, or is
Yeah,
this different?
you have a valid point actually, because I don't think I noticed that, Marco.
Like the yellowing wasn't necessarily there
Like,
as heavily as like looks significantly better in the promo pics to me.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe we'll see. But that's a
Maybe it's always
very,
the lighting.
very valid point, Marco. A very,
So it
very
feels like
valid
a bit
point.
of a switcheroo. This is not the exact figure that I went ahead and pre-ordered because, yeah, this looks different. This I could, put on my shelf a little bit more, and okay, it's like more of a brown, or just the weathering's a little bit more subtle. But with this final product, from what we're seeing here, it looks different to me. So I'm gonna say this is not the one to have, and wait for the Return of the Jedi.
Nice. All right. Well,
I'm gonna go against that because I think putting it on a white background is going to make it look a lot more toned, in my opinion. I
mm.
don't think it's that way in real life. I'm happy
That's why I
to
take
be
all my pictures in front of white backgrounds to make myself look more toned.
nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
That's how
Um,
you do it. That's how you do
And
it.
of course,
But I was actually, in the meantime, going through like some old pictures of him
Yeah.
on Dagobah, which look very similar to this, like a grunge, a grime. Maybe they're trying to multi-purpose. I don't know, but I want to see what this looks like in real life in hand. I don't have an issue with it because it's naturally going to be dirty on the bottom because he rolls. So it makes sense to me. I understand not being identical with what you had pre-ordered and what they'd put on those original posters or whatever, but I think it's a worthy upgrade in my opinion because this is from the scenes of on rolling around on Geonosis, so he's gonna have sand on him, so he's not gonna be clean.
Right. Right. It's interesting though, because yeah, we got a super chat that I want to bring up here from, I think it was Blue Beetle. Well, it's actually Daddy Carlos now. Daddy Carlos, pass on this R2. Don't listen to Kiko. So thank you so much, Carlos, for the super chat, bro. And dude, I don't know. It's interesting because, like I said, I'll probably just keep my Force Awakens for now and try to work with the electronics. And then if there's a Return of the Jedi one that just comes out and just kind of blows me away, then I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll sell the Force Awakens one and just let the buyer know there's some electronic issues going on there. But see, I don't know, Kiko. I feel like I more so agree with Marco on this. When I look at, maybe it's the white background, but when I look at these photos, I didn't notice this until Marco pointed out. So it's a great assessment there. It does look different. It looks very yellow. Maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's the white balance, the color tone of the video. I don't know. We'll have to see other reviews, but it certainly does not look as crispy in the weathering as these photos do originally.
yeah, it's
So
almost like they've concentrated the weathering on just the lower parts, and then the rest of it has not gotten that same attention. So
I
just
think he looks
disappointing
too
in the way it turned
dirty
out.
here,
you think
honestly. I
so?
mean, yeah, I think it's an improvement on the release from the
Huh, okay.
promos, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, to me, I kind of like the proto a little bit better, but to each their own. I do think it's a pretty cool figure nonetheless. And hey, if people need an R2, guys, at the end of the day, if you have someone walk into your collection room and be like, "Oh, that R2 is a little weathered, isn't he?"
Did he poop his pants? Why is it
yeah,
so
like, is
dirty down
anyone
there?
really gonna say that? Like, even a diehard fan is not gonna walk up there and be like, R2 wasn't quite that weathered in episode 2. Like,
They're
no.
gonna be so distracted from your cock Thanos that they're not even gonna
Wow.
care.
Yeah.
From the cock gauntlet Thanos. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
And that Tifa statue you have right next to it. So yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, let us know in the comments below whether you're picking up this Attack of the Clones R2D2 that was just released. I know it is waitlisted, but like Kiko said, he doesn't believe it, and I guess we'll see what happens with that.